All right, we just had a balancing update in Warzone, and with that, you know we had to go over all the new changes with weapons and whatnot. So today we're going to go over the top 7 best and fastest TTK loadouts in Warzone Pacific right now. There are so many Vanguard guns that are viable and can compete with the best, but these 7 are the absolute best right now. I'm sure some of these will surprise you, so stick around for the entire list because I think you'll probably want to add at least one of these to your loadouts. My name is LJ, and welcome to Battle Royale Guides. All right, so to start off the video, I want to do something a little different from our other loadout videos. I'm going to show you the secondary I'm using right now, as well as the perks, tacticals, and lethals, just so I don't mention it over and over and over again on each gun on the list. I feel like that'll get repetitive and annoying. So for every loadout right now, I have the STEN as my secondary, and the attachments I'm running right now are the recoil booster, SA 65mm rapid barrel, SA 32S iron sight, Gawain para stock, hand stop underbarrel, 7.62 32 round mags, lengthened ammo, but you can use the incendiary if you want, definitely a viable option, grooved rear grip, and for the perks I'm running acrobatic and quick. As soon as I saw the MP40 was going to be balanced, I put this thing together, and I've seen a lot of other creators using this as well, so it's definitely worth checking out if you haven't already. As for the perks on all my loadouts, I'm using cold-blooded, overkill, and amped, and then I use high alert on my second loadout, but obviously if you're more comfortable with ghost, you can go with that. As for cold-blooded, I feel like this is pretty essential on this new map because everyone and their moms is running combat scout, and it's just not worth the headache to not run this. Okay, to start off the list at number 7, we got the Itra Burst. This gun is a little slept on in my opinion. While I have seen some videos on it, it still hasn't been very widely used, but it's definitely a very good weapon. It's currently the slowest TTK on the list when we're talking under 30 meters, but it takes a lot longer than the others to see a drastic damage drop off, and that's at about 90 meters, where most of the others on the list have a drop off at anywhere between 40 to 50 meters. So this gun definitely has a good place here. The attachments I'm running on the Itra are the recoil booster, the 300mm barrel, G16 2.5 scope, Perfetto padded grip, the skeletal underbarrel, 8mm Clouser 32 round drum, lengthened ammo, polymer grip, vital, and fully loaded. To be honest, I haven't really enjoyed using a burst gun in any Call of Duty since Black Ops 2 with the M8 or the M16 from Call of Duty 4, but this is definitely worth a try if you're looking for something new to put in your class setups that can hold its own in Warzone. Now here's the chart I put together on TrueGameData.com, and we'll be revisiting this at the end of the video to talk a little bit more about it. As you can see, the damage drop off is pretty significant, but below 60 meters, it's very consistent. Next up at number 6, we got the Type 11. This is one of those guns where I thought would 100% be meta after the Bren nerf, but to be honest, the Bren barely got touched. Still an insane gun, but this is not far behind it. And the range on this is insane. It has a pretty small drop off at about 90 meters and very gradually drops off, but very slowly. So let's get right into the attachments. MX silencer, Sakura 487mm barrel, G16 2.5x scope, Sakura precision stock, the skeletal underbarrel, 5.6mm 45 round mag, lengthened ammo, stippled grip, and with the perks brace and fully loaded. With this build, it just feels very good at all ranges, and honestly, it's so close to all the other guns on the list, it's hard to put it over or under anything else, but I felt like putting it at number 6 was fine since honestly, all the guns on this list are crazy. Anyways, moving on. At number 5, we got the STG, Old Faithful. This is one of my go-tos when I'm not really sure what to run. It's got low recoil, great damage, and it's just all around an amazing setup. I haven't changed anything on it since my last video, but since a lot of you guys are new here, I'll go over it once again. The attachments are the F8 stabilizer, the VDD 760mm barrel, G16 2.5x scope, VDD 34S weighted, hand stop, 60 round drums, lengthened ammo, polymer grip, and then for the perks, we're running vital and on hand. So the STG is almost identical in TTK and damage range drop off as the Itra Burst, and as you can see on the chart, it doesn't have a significant drop off in damage. It basically just slowly climbs as the range gets higher. I put it at number 5 and ahead of the Type 11 because for me, it feels more consistent, and the lack of a huge damage drop off makes it feel really nice at all ranges. At number 4, we got the Cooper Carbine. The Cooper Carbine is one of the fastest killing guns in the game right now, but after some weapon balancing and more testing, there's a couple of guns that slightly beat it. So that's why it's coming in at number 4, but it is by no means a bad gun. It's nice that so many guns in Warzone are viable, so it's a lot more fun to try different things out and it won't get stale. Now, I do think most of these guns kill too quick, but that's a whole nother conversation and meant for another video. So I'll save you the time and just hop right into the attachments. The F8 stabilizer, 22-inch Cooper custom barrel, G16 2.5x scope, Cooper 45W stock, hand stop, 45 round mags, lengthened ammo, polymer grip, and for the perks we're running vital and on hand. The Cooper carbine kind of differs from the rest here, as it has slightly longer range before it gets that first big damage drop off, and that comes just after 70 meters, but the TTK is still below 1 second until then. Then once it gets to 1 second, it starts to gradually climb as the range increases. But let me tell you, this gun is crazy when it comes to anything below 70 meters. Hands down, one of my favorite on the list. Okay, moving on to number 3, we got the MG42. On paper, this thing is right smack in the middle, but it feels a little bit better to me than the Cooper carbine, but that's just personal preference. I think I enjoy it so much because it literally doesn't move with the build I'm using. It was in our no recoil video, and I have it here as well. The attachments I'm running are the MX silencer, the 890mm barrel, G16 2.5x scope, VDD 64M stock, hand stop, 125 round drum, lengthened ammo, polymer grip, and for the perks I'm running tight grip and on hand. So like I said, the MG42 is kind of in the middle of the pack of these 7 guns, so putting it at number 3 just felt right. As you can see on the chart, it has a very consistent increase in TTK until about after 60 meters, where it drastically increases and then goes back on a gradual climb as the range increases. But where it lacks in damage, it makes up for it in extremely amazing recoil control, so don't let this fool you. Probably my favorite gun to use right now, right after the Bren. At number 2, we got the AS44. So the AS44 is back in another list here, and now it's even better considering the recent buffs to decrease recoil. So it's just as strong and even easier to use. This build I'm using is the long range build, but there is a close range build that you can use, but even with this build, it can still outkill a lot of SMGs. The TTK is just crazy low. As for the build, I got F8 stabilizer, 615mm barrel, slate reflector scope, ZAC skeletal stock, hand stop, 60 round drums, lengthened ammo, polymer grip, sleight of hand, and fully loaded. So on paper, it is a huge step above all the others. It has a gradual increase up to about 70 meters, where it has a pretty big damage drop off like most of the others in this list, but then it just slowly increases as the range does. The only difference here is it is much quicker than the other guns, and honestly just feels crazy to use. And with these new buffs, I'm excited to be running around Caldera with this thing. And finally, at number 1, we got the Bren. I'm not gonna lie, I thought I was gonna be able to put a different gun here after the nerf, but after seeing how little this change really did, it became apparent to me that I had to throw this thing in at number 1. It's still the best gun in the game, in my opinion. As for the build I got going right now, it's the recoil booster, 705mm barrel, G16 scope, Queen's model BH stock, Carver grip, 40 round mag, stippled grip, lengthened ammo, and then for the perks we got tight grip and fully loaded. So on paper, this thing is a little different than the others. It is clearly ahead of the pack in every regard for TTK, and it doesn't have a significant drop off until after 140 meters. And even then, it still beats everything else. This reminds me of the Bruin when it first made an appearance in Warzone. It's just absolutely wild. Now, I wanted to show you all something interesting with the TTK that's worth mentioning so you can make a decision on what you want to be running in your loadouts the most. The chart I've been showing you was for chest damage. Now, when we switch it over to headshot damage, we see there's a drastic change with the Type 11 like I mentioned earlier. And past 75 meters, it actually jumps ahead of everything and is the second quickest TTK behind the Bren, of course. Obviously, hitting all headshots depends on how good of a player you are, and most people won't be hitting only headshots, but if you're in the habit to be aiming at the head, the Type 11 might actually be one of the best guns on the list. What do you guys think? Is the Type 11 going to be meta soon? Or are we in for another few weeks of the Bren meta dominating Caldera? Let me know in the comments below. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. I'm really excited to be running all these guns in Warzone. And if you took one of these guns and are using them in your loadouts now, make sure to drop a like on the video. And as always, don't forget to hit that sub button and turn on notifications so that you never miss a guide or compilation video. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you on the next video. My name is LJ, and this has been Battle Royale Guides.